Welcome. Here we are, the final part of all this, and that is the physics. And I'm very excited to share it with you. So what we're going to be doing is we'll be working on these two ears over here, and then of course the antenna up here. And so let's I moved these a little bit. There we go. So here's what we do. I have preemptively made parameters for the physics, basically the keyframes of what's going to be read as physics. So I have antenna X and antenna Y and ear X and ear Y. And so we're gonna just first get started with the ears. So we're going to do the ear X, and remember X is horizontal and Y is vertical. So I'm going to go, and for the main ear X thing, I'm going to go to the ear rotation, and I will be setting these key points here. And as I move to the right, I'm going to have this thing move to the right. And then when I move to the left, I'll have this thing move to the left. Now, it looks a little bit funky, but that's because I drew it wrong. But what matters is the movement. So we're going to go back here, and then we're going to go to the other ear rotation. And what I like to do is, instead of having it go in the same direction, I personally like to have it go in the opposite direction for the other ear, so that it kind of looks a bit more bouncy. So we move it back over to this side and just try and mirror it as much as possible. There we go. That's what we got so far. For the ear Y, actually, we're going to move away from the ear rotation, and I'm going to go to the L ear. So what I did was I created these path deformers to help deform the ear, and I'm going to go to the ear Y, and before it to go up, what I'm doing is I'm just going to select this thing that I made, and I'm gonna have it move a little upwards like this, and have it move the other direction, so it kind of curls up a little bit. And I'm gonna do it the other way as well. So I'm gonna add these keyframes, and I'm going to be doing the same thing on the other side, and make sure that they kind of move adjacent to each other, I suppose, if that's the right word. And we move back, and we're gonna move it like this. And then what I like to do is I like to link these parameters, and now you kind of have this little flowy motion going on. Kind of looks like a bit of a squid thing. And here's what we do. We're going to go to modeling, and we're going to go to the very bottom that says open physics and scene and blending settings. And if you haven't tried out the physics, this is all going to be grayed out first. This is because I kind of tested everything out before I started the tutorial. So we're gonna go to the input settings, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add the input, which will be angle X and angle Y, and we want to kind of have them for now at an even amount of effectiveness, because if you have more than the other, it's gonna kind of lose its effectiveness, I guess. And we're gonna use the little 50-50 thing here, because say I go to move this to 6, it's gonna move to 94. It has to even out somehow. Anyway, as I was saying, the best part about the physics is that it gives you room to basically experiment and kind of have a bit of fun with it. So here we have this all set up here, and we're going to go to the output settings, and we're going to add, and we're going to be adding angle. We're going to do the add ear X and ear Y, and we're going to have the effectiveness to 100. And now the scale is kind of the extent of the parameters. So we're gonna, because since the extent of the parameters is going to be 30, like, so we're gonna close out of this real quick. As you can see, the extent of the parameters are 30 right here, and we're going to go back here and make it all to 30 so it can be as useful as possible. And then of course, whenever you have a good idea, you can decrease the number and so on. All right, so I've made myself a little smaller, and you can mess around with all different parts of the physics. So we have like duration. This, you can choose how long it takes, how long it lasts. So say I use it to like 3, the physics are gonna be like a little fast, but that's how long the duration will take. Now let's make it like really high. Let's take it to 100. How long will it take? It's kind of so slow you can barely notice it moving. And maybe we can find a good in between. Or we can, there we go. So you can choose your duration. This is kind of getting close. Or there's the shaking influence. This one, these numbers are very extreme, because if you like lower the influence, nothing happens at all. So let's just go back to 1 and see if that fits. I personally like just remember, you can press Ctrl Z and redo all your mistakes. And then of course there's reaction time. The higher the reaction time, it doesn't really do anything. And if you shorten the reaction time, it doesn't really do anything either. There's like a bit of an in-between, and you gotta figure that out. And there's the overall acceleration, and that'll take care of that. I don't know exactly how it works, but if it looks good, I say just do whatever you like. So this is what we have for the ear physics, right? I think it's lasting a little too long, so let's shorten the duration. And I do personally think that, and I do think that it's a bit exaggerated, so I am going to reduce the scale. Let's say, let's do it to, let's do the ear X to 25, because I do think it's stretching out a little too long. And let's reduce the scale of the other thing as well. Also, there's the effectiveness. So what happens if I get rid of the effectiveness of the X? Yeah, now that's looking a lot better, I think. Because now it's moving a little bit, but also these are kind of curling up a little bit. I say that the physics are looking good on this, for the ears, and now let's just add the physics for the little antenna. I'm going to automatically set up the parameters, and see, this thing is going to the right, so I'm going to just do this, and do it to the left, and do that, right? Alright, lovely. So we have like the little antenna thing going on. Now let's go back to open physics model scenes, and now we're going to add a new thing. So this is going to be kind of in the beginning if you are completely if you haven't messed around with any of the physics settings. So I'm gonna just I'm just gonna name this antenna. And for the item preset, for the input preset, we're gonna do the head input, and then the physics mode, we're gonna just do short hair, because you can just adjust it afterwards. So we're gonna hit OK. And as you can see, we have this little thing called the group. This is the group for the ear. And now we're gonna be doing the antenna. So we're going to, the input settings should be the same for the angle X, angle Z stuff. And now we're just gonna add, and see I put in the antenna X, and I just click that. And take a look at what we got so far. The scale's pretty small, so let's go to 30. And here we go. We got the antenna going on. It's quite wobbly. So let's see how it do if we reduce the effectiveness over here. I said that's looking a little okay. What if we mess around with the duration? Now it's moving a little slower, but that's not how really I imagine the antenna to move. So let's do it to 12. I would say that looks pretty decent. Yep, and that's basically all you really need to do for the physics. Remember, if you want something really flowy, just make sure that you kind of link these parameters and try to make it all flowy if you can. It depends on what it is. And for simple things like the antenna, you just really need to have something go back and forth, and that's kind of it. But I'm going to export the physics settings, and we'll see how it looks like in VTube Studio. So I'll see you in a minute. And here we are. Look at it. Look, the little alien's a little more alive now, with the little ears and our antenna going on up here. If you want, you can go into the settings, mess around with how strong you want the physics to be, or have a little bit of an idle physics thing going on. It all depends on your taste. But we are finished with this little Live2D tutorial series. It's been quite a journey trying to learn how to teach how to make Live2D stuff effectively. And I'm glad that we finally made it to the end of all this. I do think I got a bit better at doing stuff around the end. I also got a better microphone, or more, I've been borrowing a better microphone rather than just using my headset. I do hope to make more of this kind of stuff in the future. But for now, let's revel in the fact that we've made a successful head and mouth, and of course physics stuff. And I hope that you found all this useful, and I will see you later. Bye.